Yes. In this video, we're going to be getting this mini bike up and running again, and then we're going to take it for a little ride in the woods. There's a few things wrong with it. The back tire is kind of locked up. I'm not sure if that's the brakes or if that's a rusty chain. Another thing is it doesn't start. At least I don't think it starts. I haven't even tried. Let me try. Ooh, that smells like old gas. Let's freshen it up a bit. I'm pretty sure the carburetor is going to be dirty. Pretty sure the carburetor is going to be dirty. I don't know if I want to put a bunch of new gas in here and just have it be wasted. Let's see if it'll start on spray. This thing's been sitting in the yard for a few years now. Hasn't been running in a while. Filter looks brand new though. That's very nice. I think this motor's got maybe a couple hours on it tops. All right, runs on spray. That means we have good spark, we have good compression. The only thing left it could be is the air-fuel mixture, which is definitely a carburetor problem. It would be a good idea to make sure that there's actually fuel in the carburetor, because if there's not, maybe some genius drained it before they stopped driving it, who knows? But my guess is that there is, and it's all gummed up. Well, let's check it out. All right, so here's our carburetor right here. I think this is a drain screw, and this holds the float bolt on. Stinks like old gas. The end of this bolt does not look like the carburetor is very clean. It's green. We can probably work with that. We can get that out of there. Let's take the carburetor off. So I'm going to take these two bolts off. These are holding everything on. And it looks like there's no fuel in the tank, otherwise it would be coming out of there. The throttle linkage off. Here we go. Keep an eye on these gaskets. We got our pilot jet under here. This is likely clean because it doesn't, you can kind of see where the fuel sits here. There's like a line here, the fuel sits below this line, and the rest of the carburetor stays relatively dry when it's sitting, so the float barely even sitting in it. You can see here that green line, and then where it's white, it wasn't getting any fuel in there. So the pilot jet is likely clean. So our number one culprit here is probably going to be this main jet. Very gently with the brass. There we go. So here's our main jet. You can't really see through it. It's not too bad. Not sure if you can see that. There's a little bit of light there. I'll put some compressed air through that and make sure that's all cleaned out. Another thing we want to keep an eye on is our emulsion tube in here. I'm going to poke down on that gently with the screwdriver and then get it out. There. So this air comes in through these tiny little holes and mixes with the fuel that's coming up from the main jet through here. So it's important that these holes are open because you want the air to mix well. Okay. Carburetor cleaner kind of lubes up the gunk, and then the air compressor shoves it all out. There. Yeah, you can see through that. And you can see through these holes, and this baby is clean. So I'll put that back in, shove it down in there, give it a hearty poke. There you go. And the main jet will hold that in. So let's take a look what we can see. With the main jet right now, there's a hole there. Let's clean it out. Give it a little, take a look at that hole. Looks pretty big and round. So we'll put this jet back in there, crank it down. It's brass, so you do not want to tighten it very hard, just medium low to low grunt. You set your idle with this screw here. If you screw it all the way, if you back it all the way out, you can pull this pilot jet straight out. It's just a pressure fit in there. You can pull it out to clean it. I don't think it's going to be dirty because it hasn't been sitting in gasoline. It's been dry, but just to be as certain as I can be, I'm going to squirt some cleaner through the passageways here. Just be 100%. You can see it coming out the other side. It's a good sign. These little holes in here are where the fuel comes out for that. You can make sure you're getting good flow by just squirting air through there and watching for the mist. There you go. That's probably a clean pilot jet. I'm willing to bet all the effort it takes to take the bowl and the carburetor back off, that's a clean pilot job. I'm just gonna real quick give this just a quick once over. It's not gonna look brand new, but I want it to look decent so we don't get any chunks in the motor. Paper towel, give it a wipe. Good enough for me. Make sure your O-ring is in place here. Put that back on. Make sure you got your little red gasket on this bolt so that it doesn't leak. Uh-oh. No need to over tighten this, just squish that gasket down. There we go. And try to remember which side goes on first. And I'm gonna put this on here. Before I go all the way on, I'm gonna make sure this throttle linkage goes on this, boop. And attach the little spring, plug in the fuel line. Probably good enough for me. We'll see if it leaks. Keep an eye on it. Put this choke guyer back in here. There we go. Good job, Ryan. Put this thingy back on there. Make sure you're not covering up any of the ports so it's going on the right way. This thing on there. This little tube here goes into this port here. Slip that on there, make sure this is going on. That did pretty good. Tighten these bad boyers down. Ah! Turn the fuel on, leave the choke on, start mode. I guess I'll put the air filter back in there. There we go. Carburetor's back on. With any luck, we will have solved the air-fuel mixture problem. So we have compression, we have a good air-fuel mixture, and we have spark. So we just need some gasoline in the tank, some fresh gas, and that. There's probably some old gas in here. Hopefully I can put enough fresh gas in to dilute it so it still works. I'm sure that'll be plenty. Just a little more for good measure. Put the cap on here. Okay. Switch is on. All right, well. Assaulted! Assault! Turn the choke off. Probably needs to warm up a little bit. Nice. Works good enough. Motor runs. The only other thing I want to do is there's two chains on this thing. For some reason, it's got a little jack shaft in there. I want to make sure the chains are lubed up, the tires are aired up enough. What you really want to see is us driving it around in the woods. Let's do it.
Want to warm up? It's cold out.
Yeah. Do the brakes work?
Yeah. Mama.
Yep.
Look out, birthday boy. I just want to have the first too.